Hi friends, good morning to all of you. Welcome back to Ram's Academy. As I said in the previous video, I am going to discuss about all the frequencies which are used for RF transmission. Like that today, it's an important thing, it is called audio frequency. I have already mentioned about frequency ranges of audio in my radio lecture. Like that, audio is nothing but voice, what we are listening to using our ears. Please understand that how the sounds are produced. Then only you will be able to understand the real parameters, real important data about voice and other things. Please understand, in the constant atmospheric pressure, the constant atmospheric pressure is 760 millimeter of mercury. Okay, everywhere in the ground, the pressure of air is same. When you go up, pressure is supposed to come down like that. For every 300 feet, 1 mm may come down like that. There is a rule. So that is why somewhere you might have seen that it is written as some place, written as MSL. Medium, mean sea level, like that. Okay, the ground means at sea level we have atmospheric pressure of 760 millimeter of mercury. Here, when somebody is speaking, what happens is he is going to create a change in the atmospheric pressure using his tongue. The tongue is going to vibrate according to the sound he wants to create. The tongue is going to vibrate. When it is vibrating, it is creating a change in the pressure. The pressure is not going to be constant. It is going to vary between P0 plus or minus something or P0 minus something, like that. It is going to create changes in the pressure of the atmospheric pressure. This goes on traveling to the hearing person, to the person who is going to listen to this sound. The sound, the changes in the pressure of atmospheric pressure is going to strike his ear. When he is listening to it, what happens is changes in the pressure is going to strike the innermost ear drum. The drum is nothing but a diaphragm in the inner ear that is going to be kept at atmospheric pressure at both the sides. When there is a change in this pressure, this side, what happens is the diaphragm is going to vibrate. When the diaphragm is vibrating in the ear of the listening person, these changes are going to be sensed by the brain as sound. This is how we are transmitting the sound, we are creating the sound, we are listening to the sound. The techniques of listening and creating the sound is only this. But for this, we cannot say the frequency of this like that. When this signal, that is the physical quantity of sound, is converted into electrical signal using a microphone, it is going to produce electricity. It is going to produce electricity. Electricity means it may be a DC waveform or it may be an AC waveform. The polarity may be changing plus minus like that. When a microphone is used to convert the changes in the pressure of the atmospheric pressure, when somebody is speaking in front of the microphone, it is going to create a waveform like this. Waveform like this. This is going to be the time and this is going to be the voltage. When that is the case, this has got amplitude, and it has got frequency, and it has got phase. Now, no need of thinking about the phase angle like that. When you compare with the two things, generally I can say that this is having a phase shift of that and all those things. But for a single signal, we don't need to say that. Therefore, this contains amplitude and frequency. When somebody is speaking in front of the microphone, the signal output of the microphone is going to be an alternating signal, and that signal is going to change its amplitude. Amplitude is also changing and frequency is also changing. Amplitude in the sense this is amplitude. Here you see amplitude is lesser. Here amplitude is more. this is in between. Like that, amplitude is changing. Amplitude will be changing according to the intensity of sound. What about the frequency? Frequency is nothing but between this and this, the time taken for a signal to change from one to another is called as frequency. That is the time taken when the signal is increasing. When it is again increasing, the time taken by that can be taken as the period. You should take the constant points at consecutive level. Next one, between two same things. That is called time. This time, between this time and this time, the time is going to be different. Therefore, as the time is changing, time in the sense, if you take a sinusoidal signal, the period is nothing but either from here to here, or from here to here, or from here to here. When the same thing is repeating, the time taken to repeat is called as period. Therefore, the period will decide the frequency. Frequency is nothing but how many oscillations are going to be there per second. How many oscillations per second? Therefore, the frequency can be calculated from the period of the signal. The period is T, frequency is going to be 1 by T. When the time is reducing, frequency will increase. When the time is increasing, frequency will reduce. Therefore, from here, the audio signal, when it is converted from a microphone, by a microphone of a sound, that will contain changes in amplitude and changes in frequency also. Therefore, from here we understand that when audio is changed from physical quantity into electrical voltage, it will contain frequency. This is another graph. Previously the graph was between time and voltage. Here it is between frequency and time, voltage, amplitude. Therefore, the frequency, forget about amplitude. Now see the change, audio. What is the range it is going to contain? It is going to contain between 20 kilohertz and 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. What do you mean? When audio, whether it is produced by the human or when it is produced by any instrument, when the frequency ranges between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, human ear can understand that. Human ear can understand that frequency. The frequency is between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. But always, every year, whether this year or left or right or whatever it is, everything will not be constantly listening to all the frequencies. There may be changes in the responding to a particular frequency. A person may be responding to only from 1 kilohertz to 15 kilohertz only. Or one person may be able to listen to low hertz to 10 kilohertz only. One person may be listening only from 11 hertz to this only. That is why we are opting for hearing aids when we find out that physiologically, when a ear is not able to respond to all the frequency ranges between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, something is not understood by that person. It's a hearing loss. That is why hearing aids are manufactured to correct the deterioration in the frequency range of a particular person's ear response. That is for the frequency. Hearing aids can be manufactured for correcting the particular frequency deficiency, or hearing aids can be manufactured to correct amplitude loss. When amplitude is lost, when the diaphragm is not responding properly to the sufficient amplitude, what we do is artificially we are increasing the amplitude and feeding to the diaphragm. The diaphragm is not able to receive, it is going to receive feeble sound amplitude. Therefore, try to amplify it and then feed it. There may be hearing aids which may be adjusting only the amplitude for a particular range, not for every range, maybe for entire range. There may be a hearing aid that is correcting the losses for a particular band of frequencies of the audio. Like that, lot of things are there. That is what electronic hearing aids are manufactured using this only. Now, coming to, we are not very much interested about that. Now we are going to listen to only the frequency range of audio or voice. That voice is between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. Okay, that's what we are supposed to obtain from a microphone and process it, amplify it, and a lot of things we have to do, and then transmit so that another person will be able to receive it. So that is what we did it during the analog AM radio receiver. Okay, here I am going to represent something, some idea I am going to give about audio frequency range. This frequency range in the audio AM receiver, I said, there is going to be one important characteristics. That characteristics was nothing but the high fidelity of the sound. What do you mean by high fidelity of the sound? You should be able to faithfully reproduce all the frequency range between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. That's what a good radio. Radio may be very good, but if the speaker which is connected to the radio receiver is not having the response, but if it is having a response only from 5 kHz to 15 kHz, 5 kHz to 15 kHz, this is not, speaker is not producing this range like that. Therefore, that's not a high fidelity. High fidelity system in the sense, radio receiver also should respond to all the frequency, and the speaker also should be able to reproduce all the frequency. Then only we can call it as a very good radio receiver, high fidelity radio receiver. And then one more thing, in an amplifier at house we have lot of PS system or audio system, maybe 2.1 or 5.1, like that surround system, so many things we are having. Somebody is going to listen, going to make a song, he is going to sing a song, but the song should be produced by the entire speaker system. The song is converted into audio signal. If the microphone is not good, but if your system is 5.1 with very good speakers, your amplifier is also very good, but what is the use? Therefore, please understand that whatever we do, whether we are converting an audio into electrical signal using a microphone, or we are processing the signal using the PA amplifier and then feeding to speakers, all should have better frequency response. Then only the system is good. Therefore, here I am going to divide this frequency range into 3 ranges. That is why fidelity. This got low frequency. This is called middle frequency. This is called high frequency. Okay? Therefore, what is the low frequency range? What is the low frequency range? This low frequency range is, suppose if we manufacture a speaker to represent all the frequency range of LF, MF and HF, the response of the speaker may be like this, and it may not be producing the low frequency system nicely and high frequency system nicely, but middle frequency alone that may be responding. It's a very, very cheap speaker. Very cheap speaker will be responding only this. Therefore, in the beginning, whatever they were manufacturing in 1940 and all, there may be only full frequency range speakers only. Therefore, this was not easily audible. Like that, people were started worrying about it. During that time, they were able to do only one thing called high frequency component. This high frequency component alone, they were able to correct it by having a speaker for full range, and for high range, a capacitor was connected, okay, and then it is connected to a speaker called tweeter, a metallic diaphragm, and this capacitor will be reducing the low frequency and passing only high frequency. Therefore, this type of control, normally there will be a control for this. and this control is called tone control. In those radios which were manufactured before 1950, the radio receivers were having a big speaker and another speaker or big speaker with boosting of the signal. Instead of going for a separate speaker for high frequency, what they did, when the response of the speaker is good, they tried to slightly boost it by opting for a tone control. So radio receivers which were manufactured before 1950 was having mid-range speaker with volume control and tone control only. Tone control will have a capacitor in series that will reject low frequency and pass high frequency. The amount of signal passed to that speaker for high frequency is called tone control. Okay, and like that we are able to do something by opting for a mid-range speaker and then boosting the low frequency range and high frequency range. That was the beginning stage. After that, what happens? They wanted to have separate speaker for representing this frequency and separate speaker for this frequency, and then for middle frequency they wanted to have a separate speaker. Speaker in the sense, this speaker is called, loudspeaker is called mid-range speaker, which will be representing from 4 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. Mid-range. Okay. And then for lower range, it will be boosting very good signal for the frequency of 20 hertz to 500 hertz boosting. Okay, low frequency range is being boosted. A speaker will respond to this frequency very nicely. That is called as woofer. And there was a frequency, there was a speaker which was representing the frequency. This is mid-range speaker. And there was a frequency, there was a speaker which was representing beyond 10 kilohertz. That is called as tweeter. Like that, instead of having a single speaker in a PA system, in an amplifier, high fidelity amplifier system, you can opt for 3 speakers. One is mid-range, one is called woofer, one is called as tweeter. There is going to be one more speaker at present condition. We have one more speaker called subwoofer. What is a subwoofer? That will be representing from 20 to 200 hertz. Very nicely. Subwoofer, woofer, mid-range, and then tweeter. Like that, they were able to pass audio signals ranging from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz to different speakers in a column or in 2-3 columns, so that every tone of the song can be easily heard by the listener. The sound will be very good and it will be more interesting, entertaining, like that. Therefore, how these are done? How to separately a signal? There are 2 wires only. There may be one ground. This is only one signal. This is a loudspeaker signal. This contains 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. How to feed it to 3 speakers? Can you connect to parallelly to mid-range, woofer and tweeter? Can you connect it? You cannot. Then in that condition, every speaker will respond to all the frequencies only. Therefore, we have to opt for frequency separating circuits. That is filters. We have to opt for crossover network or filter. Therefore, try to take two terminals, try to pass it to a filter. The filter may be LC filter or that may be an active filter. What is an LC filter? What is an active filter? LC filter also is having inductance, capacitance, like that. That can also have a frequency response. Okay? And that can pass low frequency signal, or that can pass high frequency signal. They can pass a signal between F1 and F2. Like that, there can be a low pass filter, there can be high pass filter, there can be a band elimination filter or a band pass filter. Like that, anything can be done by using LC. But because of LC components, they are all passive components. The signal what you feed is going to be downgraded. Amplitude will be little reduced. Therefore, what we want to do, we want to use transistors or ICs or anything using inductor, capacitor, and that also can be used as a low pass filter, high pass filter, elimination filter, or mid band amplifier filter. Like that, anything can be done. We have already studied using operational amplifier. Operational amplifier is a inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, low pass filter, high pass filter, band elimination filter, band pass filter. Like that, anything can be decided. So that type of filter is called as active filter. Therefore, we can pass these signals to filter 1 and then to filter 2 and then to filter 3. How to design these filters? Low frequency means only woofer components. That filter should feed the signal only to the woofer. Low frequency means it should feed the signal only to the woofer. Not only the woofer or maybe subwoofer. And another thing which will be rejecting the low frequency signal and pass on only the high frequency signal alone. That can be called as tweeter. And then you can use a band pass filter and that will be able to reject from 4 kHz to signals less than 4 kHz and pass on the signal beyond 10 kHz or 15 kHz. Like that, a mid-range will be able to boost all the frequencies of the mid-range so that the speaker which is connected here will be creating a very good sound. The amplitude, when we are feeding to the passive network of the filters, amplitude is not reduced. If you use active filters, it is going to boost. Because of filter, slightly amplitude may be brought down, but that can be increased by opting for active devices. Therefore, this type of network, after receiving all the signals, if they are using the filters like this and feeding to different speakers of woofer, mid-range and tweeter, and then that is called as high fidelity system. High fidelity system. Okay, in high fidelity system means many people are confusing. High fidelity, if they are able to listen to the sound very nicely, all the songs very nicely, low tones, low frequency, high frequency, tweeter sound, woofer sound, everything. If they listen to that properly, what they always call it as a stereo. They call it as a stereo. But stereo is different from high fidelity system. Mono also can be a high fidelity system. Stereo also can be a high fidelity system. Okay, high fidelity in the sense the system is having different speakers and different processing instruments which are having very good response, costly equipments which are able to produce each and every note of the music. That is called a high fidelity system, HF. Therefore, not only this cannot be only for stereo or only for mono. Stereo can be also high fidelity system. High fidelity is a different parameter that is meant for any type of system or mono, stereo or 4-track stereo or 5-track stereo, 2.1 surround system, 5.1 surround system. Lot of things are there like that. High fidelity sense, it is able to produce faithfully all the frequency ranges. Now let me go to stereo. As I am dealing with the audio frequency range, I am supposed to explain about stereo also. That is where I am taking about. What is the stereo? Please understand that in a concert in the sense, there is going to be, okay fine, T.M. Soundarajan and Sushila both are going to sing a song. Okay, this is going to be the platform. One person is singing here, another person is singing here. Okay, let it be a man and a lady like that. They are going to sing a song. There is going to be a microphone here. There is going to be another microphone here. Okay, if they are singing, and there are going to be a lot of musical instruments, and this mic, okay, there is going to be a master instrument which will be combining the signal taken from this microphone and the music. M1, M2 and then music. All are combined together and sent out as a signal. As a signal. How it is added? One microphone is this. Another microphone is this. The music is this. If both are combined electrically, if you are adding all these three signals, and then it is called as mono. We are recording it. Okay, fine. The recorded signal is taken to another room or maybe another place where you have a PA amplifier system. This signal is being played back over there. There is going to be speaker. When somebody is listening to it, this is a speaker. Okay, so mono signal is being fed to this. He is going to listen to this. When this person is listening to the song reproduced by the speaker system, will he be able to differentiate the actual physical positioning of this lady and this person? They are separated by 5 feet. He is singing some song, some part of the song. She is singing some part of the song. But if you listen to this here, will he be able to listen to this ear is listening to the man and this ear is listening to the lady? They are not going to do that. Combinedly they are going to listen. They will not be able to feel the difference, separation of these two people. Some sound is coming here, some sound is coming there. He is not going to listen. He is going to listen everything in the single speaker. Though the speakers are separated, you cannot understand. Both the speakers will be producing the same thing. There is not going to be any separation. Both are same signals only. Therefore, somebody thought, when I am sitting physically in front of the concert at the center, the musical people will be here, and this person with the right hand side ear will be listening to the person, this lady's song, and listening to this, and music is also this. Like that, he will be able to understand the physical positioning of the sound coming from either from a lady or from a man. Like that, when he is listening physically in the concert, in the auditorium, he is enjoying the music. He is enjoying all the notes. Sometimes he will be off. Sometimes she alone will be singing. Like that, he is able to understand. When she is singing, immediately he understands this man is not doing anything. Like that. This physical separation of the sounds are not happening in the mono system. How this can be corrected? That's what the people started thinking in the year 1965 and all. Then what they did, okay, there can be a music system here in front of the platform. Okay, so this is the signal microphone 1, this is signal microphone 2, this is the music. Okay, as if somebody is sitting here, what they did, they had a microphone here. He is singing, this signal is separately taken, this signal is separately taken, this signal is separately taken, and M1, M2, M3. Okay, all these three signals are recorded. Okay, by any medium. Let it be a long play record, gramophone record, or a cassette recorder, or anything. One cassette will be recording this. One cassette will be recording this sound. One cassette will be recording this. All these three cassettes are taken to a place where somebody is going to listen to this song. And then all the three cassettes are placed, are going to be played simultaneously, and there is going to be one speaker here, one speaker there, another speaker here, like that, one signal to this, one signal to that, and the other signal to this. And if a person is sitting here, he'll be able to understand, he'll be able to get the same feeling of listening to this person separately, listening to this lady separately, or the sound. Therefore, actual physical separation between the signals of the song and the music all are understood by the person by opting for three types of amplifiers. All these three signals are recorded separately and they are taken to different place, and then three amplifiers are separately used to amplify and feed it to different speakers, and speakers are separately placed. A person is made to sit in between the two speakers, so he will be able to listen to both the speaker as if when this lady is singing, he will listen to that. Person is singing, he will be able to listen to that. He will be able to understand the third dimension of the sound. That is why this type of transmission is called as stereo. This is called stereo. Stereo in the sense all the signals with the different microphones are recorded separately, taken separately and then amplified and separately fed to different speaker. So this process may be very difficult. You cannot record this signal separately with the cassette, this signal with different cassette, like that. All these things cannot be heard. For that, somebody thought within the cassette has got a tape like this. It has got this much thickness. It will be in the order of only 2 to 3 millimeters only. Within this, divide this into 2, and then this is a ferric oxide. This is a moving tape. So the top one is called level 1, this called level 2, or this is the place meant for recording with the head. That is a recording head 1, and this is recorded with the head 2. Like that, this signal is fed here, this signal is fed here. Like that, there are going to be two recording heads, and both the recording heads are going to record the audio signals, one at the top, one at the down. Like that, both the signals are recorded in the same tape, and when the same tape is played at the place where the signal is supposed to be given to the people sitting over there, and then when they are playing, there is going to be a playing back head that will take out only this signal. Playing back head of this signal only will be taken, and both the signals are amplified and fed to different speakers. The speakers are kept separately at a distance, and then when a person is sitting among the speaker, he will be able to listen separately this sound and then listen to this separately. Like that, all these things are possible by opting for having two different microphones recording both the signals separately. Then they are able to get the third dimension of the listening to the sound as if they are sitting in the concert where the singers are going to really physically going to sing the song. That is why there is going to be mono and stereo. Mono means all sounds you are able to listen. This is also high fidelity system only. And stereo, this is going to provide the third dimension. But it is also a high fidelity system. Like that, all these things are possible. But one more thing I want to mention here, and then here, instead of recording only the person singing a song or for a guitar alone or for any other orchestra, any other instrument, you can have this microphone, here, all the microphone. You can have any number of microphone. All the signals can be recorded, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Like that, you can have any number of tracks. There are going to be stereo tracks, 2 tracks, 4 tracks, 6 tracks, 10 tracks. Previously in 1970, only the first movie which came with stereo was having 6 track sound, which I have witnessed. That movie was Mackina's Gold. Very beautiful sound. Then only we understood what is meant by stereo, what is meant by high fidelity system. High fidelity system is very good. But if it is stereo, you are able to understand the depth of the signal. When the sound is coming from nearby or far away. All these things are realized in stereo system. Like that, you can have any number of tracks. There is one more advantage. Please understand that this person, 4 persons are supposed to sing a song for a particular chorus song. What happens? This person suddenly is not able to make it up to the studio, recording studio. That time everything has been arranged. They have to record it. What they do is, they will ask a duplicate to stand here and record a signal at level 1. The whole song is being recorded. The whole song is recorded. The tape is full recorded. What happens is, but the actual person which he was supposed to sing the part of the song, and he will be available after 1 week. Then what he can do is, the electronic technician will be able to erase the signal at level 1 by keeping all the levels, and he can ask the real person to sing the song, part of the song again, and he can record it using another tape, and that tape signal can be again recorded synchronously with the other level 2, level 3, like that. This type of facility is possible. All these things, dubbing and re-recording and inserting, deleting, so many facilities are available by opting for stereo recording, multi-level stereo recording. Therefore, my dear friends, what I want to say here is, today in RF transmission, I wanted to discuss about only the audio frequency range, what is the listening frequency range, what is meant by audio. That was between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. Within that, the whole entire range is divided into 3 ranges, and how they are converted into the high fidelity systems, and how you can do that with the low frequency tweeter, woofer, subwoofer, mid range, like that. I said there is going to be a high fidelity system. Okay, high fidelity system also is different from stereo. I explained about the stereo also. Basically, my explanation may be very, very basic, but I hope very well that you will be able to understand what is the difference between high fidelity system and stereo. Wherever you get a very good sound, don't think that it is going to be stereo only. It may be a mono, but it's a high fidelity. Like that, if you are able to understand the frequency range of the audio, then we will be able to know that what is happening when we want to transmit the signal using either analog modulation, amplitude modulation, or frequency modulation, what we are supposed to do, and all these things will be, definitely you will be able to understand that in future. That is why I have taken up this subject, and this will be very much useful. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.